talk now. Right. So, such is the nature of life that all it asks, all it wants, is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity. So am I. So it is. So if you have appeared somewhere in your life today, then you have met life's choice for you, which is to appear, to show up, to be something or somebody. So, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you know what an amazing community this is. The love that I see happening out there when we're talking and we're gathering and people are coming together, and some of you have known each other since, before there was electricity, and some of you are just now meeting each other for the first time and meeting old friends again for the first time. It's just wonderful to be a part of this and to get to celebrate with you. It's pretty cool. If you ever wonder that you're a timeless human being, think about what you just heard was first played nearly 200 years ago, and people felt and responded to it just as you are now. If ever there's an experience where you could cross time, it's in music. Music takes us forward and backward and all over the place. And all of that has nothing to do with my talk. But I needed to say it. So to talk today, someone asked me, someone whose initials are David in the back, asked me today, whenever I got here, who picked this title? I was made for loving you. They must have been hung up on 80s rock music. Yeah. Kiss, right? Everybody knows Kiss. Well, Kiss made up a song, wrote a song, did a song. It was a popular song. I was made for loving you. But then it went on to say, and I can't ever get enough, and I hope you can't ever get enough. I'm so needy. Most of our love songs out there in the popular world are pretty needy songs. Codependence Anonymous, absolutely all over the page. Things like, I can't live if living is without you. Now, I have felt that way a few times when I lost someone really dear to me, but it ain't true. It just maybe feels that way at the time. Oh, and my other favorite from even further back, you're nobody till somebody loves you. What? Come on. I mean, maybe the psychologists say if your child isn't loved, they don't thrive in development. That's true. But children are amazing. They will find something to love them, even if it's just a teddy bear that nobody else is paying attention to. We all find ways to love and be loved because love is who we are naturally. It is not a commodity to get or give. I say this a lot around here and everywhere else I go because it's such an important idea. We don't need to get love, or we don't need to make it, or we don't need to be sure we give it to somebody because we all already have it. It's what we're made of. The universe runs on the energy of love. It's what creates the energy of movement and motion, and it takes shape and form as our physical selves, as everything we touch and see and know. It's a loving universe that provided me with a nice, comfortable chair to sit in this morning. It's a loving universe that made out of itself everything that is. That's what we teach here. There's only one power, one thing, and that is the infinite, God, if you choose that word. Infinite intelligence, universal presence. It is everything. Therefore, everything that is love. Holy baloney. Now, not everybody acts like they are loving, but we'll get to that part later. So it is, as the reading so beautifully said, it is this shared reality that we all have, and which is why everyone is always trying to understand it and talk about it and reach out for this thing called love. And by the way, if you love that reading, that's from the 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. They collaborated on it. It's available. You might want to buy it and read it every day. Start your day with it. It's an amazing collection of truth. Yeah. See, people run around looking for love because they think they don't have it. They're like fish swimming the 7 seas looking for water. You ever done that? Looking everywhere for something and find out you had it all along? I do that with my glasses all the time. or my car keys. I finally put a little beeper on my car keys so if I could find my cell phone, I could find my car keys. You know how that goes. We get lost in that kind of stuff. Yeah. It is truly modern life. Emma Curtis Hopkins said when she spoke of people coming to us for treatment, talking to practitioners, when you go to someone for a treatment, or you go to someone for help, that person does not receive you as someone broken and hurt or harmed, but as a perfect spiritual being showing up to be recognized. That's what a practitioner does. We recognize in you the beauty and power and goodness that you already are. Because love couldn't make anything else out of you, really. Now, we can alter it and put filters on it and come up with all kinds of weird stuff, but the essence of who you are and who you are created as is love. It's perfection. It's beauty. It's power. It's goodness. It's all of that. We are already water in the water. We're already living in that place. Now, I want to share a little thing with you that I'm going to be doing in the workshop this afternoon. I'm just going to hit the highlight today, hopefully to tease you into wanting to join us. Because we're going to be looking at this, how it is that we start out or are these perfectly beautiful spiritual beings, and yet we are more. We have our other parts. We have our parts that are not so spiritual and not so loving and not so beautiful. And yet, the ultimate truth of us is much bigger than that. Because in the ancient Upanishads, and this predates Hinduism, they recognized this and said, well, there's got to be a way to understand this, so let's put it out and see what makes sense. So throw it up here on the board. Now, you may not be able to see all the small, tiny little parts there, but come this afternoon, you'll get your own copy. And because the coach to everywhere is the coach that is, the coach to everywhere is the coach that does represent. And the reason it's a coach is because this is 5,000 years ago or so, 6,000 years ago this was built. They didn't know about cars yet. I'm going to redo this with the Tesla to everywhere. And it'll have the same kind of idea, or any other kind of modern car that you want. Maybe I shouldn't call a brand. Anyway, but the whole thing is who you are and how our life goes as we move forward. And each of those parts represents some part of you. The coach is your body. The driver is your chooser, the part of you that makes the choice. That little blue character in the middle is the divine you that's right there in the middle of it all, and is calling the shots on where we go. I don't know about you, but in my life, that horse is definitely emotions. Do you ever get led by your emotions until you got, oh no, this is a runaway horse. Come back here. Get them in. We got to handle our emotions, but by using our intellect and our spirit to do that. So this is all a beautiful description. The biggest piece I wanted to point out right now is, you notice down here along the way, you see your neighbor. This like a little devil. All of our neighbors aren't little devils, but some of us have neighbors that we might think are little devils. And they're pointing us, let's go this way. You're going the wrong way. Who is that devil? That's somebody that is a perfect match for one of those little characters you already carried around inside of you. We all have these characters within us that are not necessarily related to the divine. We learn about them growing up. We find out, maybe I'm stupid. When I was in high school, I helped my teacher put all of her classroom stuff away and got paid a little money and went and spent it all on pinball machines. You remember those, some of you. And I snuck my record out and read it. And it said I had an IQ of 100. And I went, oh my God, I'm stupid. I'm not very smart. Well, it wasn't the number that was my IQ. It was some other number. I misread it and didn't know what I was looking at. That's the problem with looking at stuff you don't know what it is without finding out, like we do in our computers sometimes, figuring out how things work. So I really went through a lot of my life thinking I was really on the edge of not being smart at all. And therefore, I had to really work harder than everybody else. And I did. And so I went through with straight A's, and I got out of it. I did really well. And I have multiple degrees from different schools and colleges, and I still felt stupid. Till one day, somebody said to me, "You realize you're not stupid, you're smart. Look at all that you've done." Yeah, but they just gave me those degrees because they wanted to get rid of me. Anybody have that? So I had this whole little imposter up there in that carriage riding around with me saying, "You're so dumb, you're not good enough, you're all that nonsense stuff." And then, sure enough, I could meet some people along the way that agreed with that because I believed it. Anybody got any of you that are really bossy and controlling? No, don't raise your hands. You ever meet anybody else in your life that was bossy and controlling? And you didn't like them at all? Because they looked just like a part of you. Now, we don't know that necessarily when it first happens until you get a little spiritual growth and development here. But what happens then is that we see them and they show up to remind us of what we're carrying around with us. That person you bump into that makes you want to scream, that's because they're saying, "Hey, guess what? You're believing something like this about yourself. You ready to heal that? You ready to be done with it? You ready to let it go? Ready to release it?" So when we get into the whole business of our love being more than just about us as individuals, what we get to do when we meet that person is love them. And by doing so, we learn to love ourselves. But often, we have to go back inside ourselves and learn to love and forgive and honor and embrace that part of us that we may have gotten rid of, that we may not have liked, we may have thought something was wrong with. Because as soon as we do that, we meet different kinds of neighbors out there on the road. The more we can love ourselves, the more loving people will be surrounding us and showing up on our doorstep and treating us kindly. When I moved to Philadelphia, I was in the Northeast. I'm a Southerner. I was feeling like I was a little out of my territory. And people do have a different way of communicating up there. You call somebody on the phone, forgive me, Philadelphians who may be listening. You call someone on the phone, and the first thing they say is, "What do you want?" Now, where I come from down here, we say, "Hey, how you doing? How's your mom and them? How's this going on?" Then you get around to say what you want. But if you do that up there, in those days, it was like, "You're up to something. You must be trying to smooze me to get something out of me." So it was a whole different communication style, and it took me a while to figure out they weren't all mad at me. But I decided I was going to live differently in that environment, and I was going to smile and say hello and be friendly to everybody I met. And at first, people looked at me like I was nuts. Who is this guy? What's he trying to do? After a while, I discovered a whole community of people who were loving and supportive, who could be kind to each other in the grocery store line, and some of the cashiers that I always saw and met, some of the street people that I walked by every day going to the train, all that kind of developed this whole interesting thing. And it was just making a choice to love. My first ever purely metaphysically intended book is called The Greatest Salesman in the World. I've talked about it here before, I think, but and it said, if you want to be the greatest salesman in the world, when you meet someone, say in your mind and consciousness, "I love you." I'm not here to do anything to you. I'm not here to extract anything from you. I love you. And if you don't believe in whatever you're selling is good enough to be a loving thing for the other person, then you're probably in the wrong business. But if you say, "I love you," and I was having a hard time at that time. I was a Baptist minister, and all I was hearing I wasn't preaching it, but all I was hearing was hell and damnation, so that's all I was seeing around me was everybody's sin instead of their beauty and power and wonder. And I started practicing that, saying "I love you" to everybody I met, which is what Jesus did. Hello. And my world changed, their world changed. It all became something altogether new and altogether different. And gradually, I grew out of that negative, limited religion. Now, not all people who are Baptists live in that world that I did, but that was my experience of it. Yeah. So part of this is about learning to love all of our parts, which we talked about last week, And it's also about learning to love all of your parts. And loving you is not about approving or disapproving of you. You know, this is Pride Month. And this is Pride Month. Pride, which pride? What are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Gay pride. It started out as a big protest. 1969 in the Stonewall Bar in New York, a bunch of drag queens said to the police, "You cannot continue to extort us for money or drag us around and treat us as less than human." It wasn't that you were treating us as bad people. They were being treated as less than human, and they were being dehumanized. Now, my connection to that is, yeah, I'm a gay man, but on that day, I happened to be in New York, staying at the YMCA with my lovely wife, brand spanking new. We'd been married 4 days, and we were up there to go to work for an organization called Youth Development Incorporated, which was about helping youth in remedial education and spirituality, particularly Christianity. And I knew my world was changing. As soon as I heard about it, saw it in the newspaper, but, you know, and it did change. We started to break up on something that was so important that somehow, I mean, it wasn't many years after that the American Psychological Association, Psychiatric Association declared it was not a disease anymore. It went from being non-human to a disease. And now we celebrate it. Atlanta's going to have a celebration in October. We will probably have 200,000, 300,000 people coming out to celebrate it. The first time I walked and marched in that parade in Atlanta, there were so few of us that when it rained, we got under one picnic shelter. Wow. Life has changed over these very short years. And this is a time we celebrate. Now, we celebrate that freedom. It's no longer just gay rights. It's LGBTQIA++++, and all of the varieties that have shown up. We now know more about brain chemistry, so we understand what we used to think of as something was wrong with somebody. We now know it's just how people's brains work, and they're different. And it's changing so rapidly. And our young people are embracing it. Binary, non-binary, sexuality, non-sexual, on and on it goes. Sexual identity versus, identity versus attraction. They don't always match. And for some of you and some of me who are in our age group, that's all way confusing. But you know what? Part of growing and part of moving forward in life is consciousness is constantly getting more and more complex and more open and more free, and we get to learn and learn and learn and learn. We never stop, and we never stop having the chance to love. And if we don't understand something, just know that Spirit created that person, and by George, it's my job to love them because they are loved as well. They've already got it in them. And as soon as you start doing the love starts to match. And there are a lot of us in my generation who say, we would probably define ourselves differently had we been known then what we know now. And we would not have been locked into such rigid roles which we were in. You know, variety. It's about variety. Diversity. That's where we live. We live in a world of diversity. So it's not just a rainbow, it's a rainbow and a rainbow of rainbows, and it's a whole world of that. And this is the month we get to celebrate the fact that the garden is not made of just one colored flower, thank God. Or the rainbow is not just one color. When you look at it carefully, it splits into all colors. So being in that now is your chance to celebrate along with anybody you know. You don't have to say anything out loud. If you're uncomfortable, just in your mind say, I love you just the way you are. We just got through saying it. Did you notice this morning in our statement about who we are here at Ahava? We love you just the way you are. Now, I remember an old Baptist hymn that said, just as I am without one plea. Well, you know what? Just as I am means just as I am. Then it meant just as I am until I change and be the right way. Whereas right now, the truth is it means just as I am right now, period. You are loved and beloved of God. You are created out of God itself. I have a friend who always addresses us as godlings. Hello, godlings. Now, that may not be comfortable for everybody. We're not the God that manages the whole world by any means, or the whole universe. But we are the center of power in our own lives. And as we embrace more and more the idea that the divine is within me, the more my life can look like maybe a godling who is loving, being loving, and sharing love. I don't know if I'm sort of wrapped up in the Bible lately because I guess I'm back in Kentucky. This is where I went to seminary the first time at the Baptist Seminary up the road here. But I was reading this week in another book that said, was talking about Jesus and some of the Jesus stories, the great teacher, whether you believe it was a real person or a mythological creation of history or whatever you believe about that. It is definitely Jesus is definitely an entity within the consciousness of most people. An entity in the sense of a belief of some sort. Either you believe in it, or you don't believe in it, you like it, you don't, all kinds of things in between. But whatever you believe about that, the story is Jesus' friend, Lazarus, was dying. And they said, let's go get him. Quick, we got to get over there and heal him so he doesn't die. And Jesus said, we'll get there at the right time. It'll all be fine. So they finally get to where Lazarus lived, and Lazarus was dead. Starting to stink. They'd put him in the tomb, and he was starting to smell. And Jesus went inside and went in the tomb and loved him and prayed over him, and he came back to life. So I want to leave you with a question. Is there anyone, including yourself, including those you encounter on a regular basis, that you can love most powerfully enough that you love them back to life? That's the lesson there. We can love each other back to life when we appear to no longer be alive. You can love yourself back to life. You can love others back to life. But it takes a powerful, passionate, focused love to do that. But here's what I know. I know that you're worth it. You're worth every bit of being loved that way. And you're worth loving that way. Because here's the really best part about it. You can't give love away without getting it. And you can't keep it for yourself because then it turns into something not love. But if you love, you benefit, they benefit, and you know, if you're really in that space of love, you don't have to say anything. People know it. You know how you feel when you walk into a room with somebody that's just genuinely loving. If you've ever been with the Dalai Lama or with some of the others who put their whole lives around love day in and day out, you can feel it. It buzzes. Be that person. I double dog dare you. Because you're wonderful, and so am I, and so it is. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Here she comes. So, let's go into a meditation that will open us up to love. Not that we're creating love, because it's already there. But I invite you to step with me into love. So we take a good deep breath and let it go and settle into your seat. And another deep breath and let it go. And notice where in your body you're aware of my voice. Is the awareness in your head? Are you hearing me through your ears? Just be aware. And if wherever that is other than your heart, follow your breath. With each breath, your breath comes into your body and surrounds your heart. Your lungs wrap around your heart. Spirit wraps around your heart with every breath. So as you breathe in, and you breathe in this life-giving force, Follow it in your mind down into your heart. And as you reach that heart, that beautiful, wonderful, glowing heart of yours, the physical heart, the spiritual, divine, metaphorical heart, imagine yourself simply settling into it. As Emerson says, lying in smiling repose in the center of your heart. If it's crowded, allow it to enlarge and stretch a little bit so there's room for you. And with each breath, imagine that your heart stretches a little bigger, making a little more space. And as you settle into your heart, recognize that there within is the center of your universe. Look around in your heart and see what's there. Is it soft and pliable, or is it hard and crunchy? Is it open to the flow of love through it? Just notice. Don't judge, but just notice. If you choose, allow it to get a little bigger. Now, in the back of your heart, notice there's a window or a doorway or an opening of some kind. And as you approach it, let your imagination gently open it and flood your heart with the divine love of spirit, of life that is behind that window or comes shining through that window. The love itself fills your heart, flows through you, into you. Many people see it as a golden white light. Allow it to flow in and just fill all the parts, corners, rooms in your heart. There's a place in your heart for that little kid you once were, for the teenager you were, for the young adult you are, perhaps. And right on up through all the years, there are images and aspects of you. Let that divine love simply bathe all of that and dissolve it into the one light of love. And when it feels like you've drawn in all that you can, allow it to bring in even more until your heart begins to glow and you begin to glow in the love that is light, the love that is life. And in this space, know this with me. As all of us are made of one thing, God stuff, spirit stuff, life stuff. Everything within us is formed and shaped by the energy and power of life, using all the materials it has already created, the materials of the earth that created our bodies from, that form our bodies, the energy of light and life and thought and feeling and words that creates who we are and what we think and what we believe. So I know that we are each an individual expression of that unified oneness. We do not leave the oneness to become individuated. We are living within it always. We are the drops in the ocean. So all of the qualities of spirit that we desire to express are available to us simply by claiming them for ourselves. Whether that is the power of love, the power of light, the power of peace, the power of prosperity and abundance, And we claim all of that by recognizing it already within us and around us. We see the abundant beauty of all life, and we celebrate it. For it is ours if we see it and experience it. And we float and stand in freedom and joy in that space. Giving great gratitude that this is how life works, that our inner life is our real life, and the outer life is a simple reflection, just as we each declare, thank you for being a reflection of me. Our real world, our real life is within, and the other is a reflection. Knowing that, I can stand in gratitude that it's that easy and simple. Not easy, but simple. But easy too. Because as I change my inner world, the outer world changes to match it, to reflect it back to me. So I stand for joy. I stand for love. I stand for community. I stand for peace and prosperity for all people, whoever they are and wherever they are in this time and time to come. So with ease and with great gratitude, I can release this now, knowing it is not only my mind, it is part of the mind of God, and spiritual law is bringing it about already in the lives of each and every one of us as we say yes to it. And it always says yes to us. With that, I can let this be. Let it be so. And so it is.